Okay, so it's a little after 3, and then today's supposed to be the rocket launch, but it feels so weird. It just feels like there's been so many days. It's just like, I don't know. Hopefully it does, and hopefully our grid goes down. I mean, there's so many signs of so much stuff that is going on. Like, it's wild. Oh, you know that Michael Rappaport I've talked about before? Like, I used to like him a long time ago. He's in a movie, one of my favorite movies, um, Lovely Girls, uh, Lovely Women or something. Oh, it's an old 80s movie now. I just really like it. And he was in it. And he used to be in a lot of movies I liked. I liked him. He was just kind of a cool character in movies. And then his real personality came out, and he's just so full of hate and he's just so derogatory. He's so rude. Like, if he can say something in a rude way, he's going to say it 10 times more rude. Like, he wants to really impact the rude side. And it's like, dude, God, your personality kind of sucks. And then he came out anti-Trump, 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 just being so fucking rude. And, I mean, that's not, like, I'm not going to just be like, oh, well, he doesn't like Trump, so I don't like him. No, I just think he's really hateful and rude. But now, I told you how those things were going to turn. Now he turned and he said he's real mad about it. He's real mad about it. But he's no fucking way going to vote for Joe. He will fucking have to vote for Trump. But he's mad about it. But he'll do it. He'll do it. And now, so he's got all the patriots or the Trump lovers that, oh my gosh, the videos on him now. Oh, I'm telling you, the humiliation on some of this stuff, like being drugged through the dirt. Like, fucking even this, Britney Spears' little sister. Like, that can't even be her. That's gotta be somebody else. Like, what the hell? Why would you, some of these girls, like, they have pretty faces, and then it's like, do they have handlers that talk them into this shit? Like, what in the hell? Is it part of, like, like, Tamron, the little girl from Orange is the New Black, she was in the movie that I was talking about the other day, and she was on Whitney's podcast, and she was talking about the gold Jews and saying some stuff. Well, now, for a while, it seemed like she was doing videos where just like she was kind of on drugs or something. She would just do and say really weird things. And then, but now she's saying a whole bunch of stuff. Like, she's out there saying stuff. She's saying that some of the stuff that people are all worried about and scared of isn't true. But, I don't know. I think that maybe she just doesn't know about some of this stuff, because just because somebody's in one place doesn't mean they know everything, I would think probably people who are somehow in government or politics or something, like they would know more about, following the rabbit, if you get what I'm saying, on the Chrome, and what they do and why they keep a little nest over there of dark children that don't have parents, and why they just go create storms and then go in to rescue all the little orphans. It's like they do. And I'll tell you another thing, it's fucking weird, is the all these homeless people. Like, I just saw a guy who's homeless in San Francisco, and he said he just felt weird or something. He didn't want to go to any shelters or anything, and he had called a shelter. There was 30 beds open, and he was talking to a friend of his who's out on the, I don't know, out in the tent city of Frisco, and she sold bike parts. Like, she'd go around gathering bike parts and sell them to other people who needed them. And so she had a little setup in her tent, she had a little shop going. That's the kind of shit I would do. I was setting up a little candy store in our driveway when I was a kid. Like, lemonade stand, hell yeah. I was like, real innovator. Like, oh, well, I mean, I think I was doing that before but my dad, it was always, I mean, he was a go-getter. I mean, he had a lot of problems, but he taught me a lot of stuff. He didn't ever graduate high school. He went into service, got kicked out. He came home, started being a salesman, and made salesman of the year every year. He got into, and I think he somehow was involved with fire sprinklers. I don't remember, but it was like right in the very beginning. And then he went and started his own business, and it became huge. But you know, he wasn't equipped in a lot of other ways, but he was a very go-getter, and he tried to instill that in me, and he did, you know. And I used to tell my mom, because she would think I was so weird that I liked to work. And it's like, I mean, did you ever know my dad? And he was a major workaholic, alcoholic. And so you know, I was a big workaholic. I wasn't an alcoholic. I was a shopaholic, though. And so I was, but my mom couldn't understand it. She didn't like to work. She stayed home our whole lives. And when she had to work, she hated it and immediately wanted my stepdad to go and work enough so he could support 9 kids. And, you know, she had no problem putting pressure on somebody. And then I wonder why he's upset. I wonder why he doesn't get along with you. I wonder, you know. My mom just, I don't know. She has a way, but she's hiding from herself is the thing I would say. Because that's what a lot of people use religion for, you know. They can't accept themselves, so they just need the Almighty to accept them so that they can feel better. But nothing will ever make you feel better until you feel better inside. It doesn't matter if Jesus forgives you, you got to forgive yourself. And people just think they can just hold on to their guilt and Jesus will take it from them. It's not how it works. It's just not how it works. You know, I'd be just all cool and fun if there was somebody at the end of the game that you could just say, oh, I failed here. Can you take that? And I'm going to go about my business. No, it doesn't go like that. You know, and your soul is powerful. Your soul wants to do the healing. Your soul wants to remember. But people begin, it seems to me, to block their own memory. They don't want to remember. And so, anyways, that's the whole thing. But, what was I saying? How did I get over there? Because I have some other things coming in my head. So let me think what I was talking about that. My stepdad having to work. My mom. Oh, yeah, my dad. And him being such a go-getter and having his own business. I mean, I'm just not a person who thinks somebody's all bad or all good. That's for sure. But I definitely, you know, even if somebody's good and bad, I've always had that awareness that it was their own internal battle. Like when bad is out of balance, it's their internal battle. That's the sad thing is like people don't understand is that some of the most toxic people you know are the most in pain. Oh, I was going to cry. They're the most in pain people. You know, so many people hide from their pain. Not everybody's looking for Jesus to forgive them. Some people are just looking for, you know, a little snort here, a little drink here, a little shoot up there, a little, you know, hide away. Oh, yeah, okay, back to the homeless people. Thank you. Okay, so now we're back to the homeless people in Frisco. Okay, so this guy, he saw the tent lady, you know, he was talking to her, and they came up and told her she had to move. And so he said it was really weird. And it was just around the corner. They just told her she had to move around the corner. So she had to pack up all of her shit and move it. He said it was really weird, and she thought it was weird. And so she was doing her thing and moving her and her boyfriend in her little shop and around the sidewalk to the other side. And he left and went about his business. And he said, okay, well, I'll see you later. So he went back to see her later, and she's completely disappeared. And in one of the comments where I saw somebody talking about the streets in Frisco, somebody had commented and said one of their friends who lives in Frisco is just disappeared. Nobody knows where they are. And because I swear, when I look inside of my mind, it seems it's weird because it's almost like they shifted them into another reality somehow. Like, do they have the technology just to do that? Like how Allison Coe had said, like those ships are going to come down and just take the people. And, you know, I mean, did they do something like that? Because it's like they were gassed or something. It's like that they just, because how do you get all those people and all their things? And you think about like how many videos have we seen? You could not make those people move. They are out. They are like dead. There's laying, I mean, I've seen some weird ones too. Like, it's almost embarrassing. Like a woman who's passed out in a man's crotch and he's laying across another way. And it's just like, oh my God, some of the humiliation on some of these, you know, I mean, fuck. It's like people are at their lowest, you know. And I don't know, I guess you could get lower than that. I don't know how. But, so this guy's saying that, he didn't want to go to the shelter. He's weirded out, you know, where did his friend go? And all these people have just disappeared. And he was, I don't even know when he did that video. I guess he was talking about all of them. I started following him because I want to hear more, because he's like, you know, homeless guy in San Francisco who's looking for the rest of the homeless people. And they can't be found. And, you know, where people are like, well, where'd they put him and stuff? Maybe they put him in a hotel. No. Especially the shelter had 30 beds. They didn't put him in a hotel. And what's weird is now, right after that, Sonic has put out a new rap, a chili, one that's, oh, isn't this fun? Chili, cheese, and Fritos in a wrap. So it's just a tortilla, and then put some chili, and then put some Fritos, and put some cheese, wrap it for 99 cents. And I thought, what a great way to dispose of some bodies. Like, if you really want to get rid of a bunch, just put down some markdown burgers, markdown, you know, chili and stuff. Because that's what Finkelstein, like, if you haven't heard him, like, it's atrocious. Like, I mean, and his thick accent and his just demeaning, derogatory attitude towards the Gorham people, or whatever we're called. Because he said, we take them to, you know, this warehouse. And somebody was using this, the talking thing, you know, of him, and then they were putting pictures up of some warehouses in New York. That you know, some people, when they're real into some of this stuff, then, you know, they recognize different things that are talked about in their group. So I don't get as into it as some of these people. So I don't know, because he kept showing these certain ones in the sign and stuff. And so I was like, okay, so maybe this is one that is, that they're suspicious of, or that is, because they'll go in and look up like CEOs, they'll go up, look up all sorts of stuff. The people who get into research are just fascinating to me. And it has to be driven by fear. So we can't shame these people. Like, they're in their own process. We have to not use them, but, you know, listen, as they are, you know, consumed by their fears, and talking about them, what they see, what they find. And, you know, because old Finkel, he said that they take them in there and they drain them of all their blood, like a ritual, and then they do their business. I don't know. They take, it's weird. Like, it's just weird. Is it, you know, do you do this just so you can sell some lungs and hearts and kidneys? I mean, we know the kidney's a big one. Like, it's oddballs. It's so huge. But there's, you know, I mean, there's more. And then, you know, is there people who go into the hospital and, I mean, do the doctors just tell them they need parts sometimes and then put them on machines to make their other parts fail, give them drugs to make them fail because they have a lot of money and they want them to pay for stuff, buy, you know, parts from people? Like, I saw that in a movie a long time ago. Like, if you go into the hospital and you need a heart or you need something, that you'll be approached by black market people. And that's where the money is. And the hospital knows it. The hospital's all about it. I mean, you're getting all these officials that are getting caught and is a part of it. Another really huge one got caught yesterday. Well, not just got caught. I mean, these people are, you know, the 175,000 indictments, you know, that we've been waiting on. And they've known who these people are for a long time. It's kind of like while they were doing some of the stuff that they were okay, wait a second, because I had something else coming at the same time. Why they were doing, what was I talking about? Well, they do some of the stuff. What the hell was I saying? God, all of a sudden something just like flew by. It was about the homeless people. So, oh yeah, okay, so the black market, and then they sell them to those people. But the amount is just astonishing. How many people? So there's more than just that. There's some tasty morsel shit going on there. And, you know, and some of these ancient kind of groups, like tribes and stuff like that, you know, to consume one's heart or something gave you power. And that's what they're all about with this, you know, this stuff. That's why they're, you know, powerful vampires. But, you know, they don't, because they don't get reborn. Those people need the parts because they're fucking relic, decrepit, old fucking ancient. And then whatever it is, this guy, after they do the thing and they drain them and they do whatever the parts they need, whatever they want, whatever, then they they chop the rest up. And he said that they put it all in the sausages and in the ground meat, and they feed it back to us, and they think it's hilarious. And, but I just was like, oh my gosh, just notice how all of a sudden all these people have gone missing. We don't know where they are. These weird coffin things show up with plants, like, and then a cheap burger, a cheap wrap comes out from a corporate place. It's like, I don't know. I think, you know, those are things we should pay attention to. Seems like, you know what's weird too? You know, yesterday, because I was, you know, really getting hit with it, and I've been hit by it a few times throughout this, you know, when I try and say something to my kids and I just see like how much that they just don't respect me. They don't look at me as valuable. Except for what they want, you know. And if I don't give what they want, then I hold no value. I'm just the worst person in the whole world. But for me to be me, that's a problem to them. And they don't even realize it. Like, I don't think that they realize this. That they, like, if your boundaries are every time I speak, that I'm not allowed to speak, like, where am I being appreciated as a person? Like, and I've been shown over and over and over this whole time that this whatever's going to happen in my life is going to awaken them to something that's going to be really deep. And, you know, because they haven't seen me. But was so trippy. And it's weird, too, because I feel like I've seen this before, months and months and months ago. And I feel like I talked about it before. but she just did it yesterday. And so I don't know if it's the same person. I don't know if this is another person who, it's weird. But so I went on TikTok after, and this girl who I follow, she's called Holistic RN or something. I always share the link in the comments yesterday. And she was saying how hard it is for her now, realizing that her, autistic mom, who was having her own problems, who was constantly being ridiculed by the dad and made fun of by the dad. Now the daughter would participate and beat the mom down with the dad. And now how she feels. And so horrible. Like she's really trying to process her own part. And especially now as a woman to see, what she was doing, and to also understand, because now she's also diagnosed with autism. Everybody's got it, because everybody, they're trying to make us fit into something we're not. And that's the problem. And anybody who is just trying to, make it in this world, if you're not exactly the way they say to be, then you're some sort of weirdo. And I don't know. The people who were there to beat me down, I've just found it kind of fascinating that they are RH negative. And especially coming from a spiritual perspective, I've always been like, that has always intrigued me. And I've heard a lot of different people saying a lot of different things about RH negative stuff, because RH negative stuff is all over the place now. But I just find that fascinating that my first husband and my second husband, I don't even remember the blood types of the third and fourth. They could have also been RH negative. It could have been every person who came into my life to beat me down was RH negative. Like, I don't think my mom was. And even though my dad, he was that problem, but I always stood up to him. I was always standing up to him. He may be trying to sexually assault me, but I'm, get back, like, get back, man. I'm kicking him and yelling and screaming. Like I've been a fighter since I was little. And, that's, I'm not saying, because, everybody has different things to go through. Like, there's all different lessons in every aspect. So there was not like one right thing. Well, I should have done that. That's what I should have done. No, you did exactly what you were supposed to do. Now you just got to process through the lessons, through the pain, through the suffering. Don't feel like you were supposed to be somebody different. You were supposed to do something different. No, that's never the thing. The thing is always to accept yourself, accept what you went through, and process it. Because the lessons, the gifts, you've gotten gifts from your trauma, but you got to process through the pain to find the gifts. So, but everybody got gifts from the things they've gone through. So don't ever, when you hear somebody talking about what they went through, think like, well, I should have done it that way, and maybe I would have had a different turnout. No, fuck. It could have been some kid who was like, well, I should have just started hitting my dad and run and stuff. You could have ended up dead. Like, it could have just been beaten to death. You can't do something because somebody else says. You got to go with what you did was right for you. You did what you were supposed to do. Now you just have to process. Just process through the pain. Replay it. Go in and see it. A lot of people find a lot of help by playing out the inner child dialogue. Go rescue your inner child. You can play out some fun stories, replay the story in your mind of this traumatic event. And, here comes the adult you as the superhero with a big old S on your chest, coming in and fighting your perpetrator, grabbing you up and flying you out into space and taking you on a beautiful trip to look at the buildings from above. So you can play the story out how you want, and however you play it out, you process through it. You become your superhero. You become your rescuer. So there's a lot of things. And there's so many books, like the self-help books, I'm telling you. Because one thing, too, you got to keep in mind, a lot of these books were not written like right now. My point being is right now, all these spiritual, super spirits, everybody's written a book suddenly. Everybody's got a book out. And the journal, the book, this, that. You really have to use your discernment. Like, what are they basing their stuff on? And I've even heard a lot of like this journal that all these people are talking about. And it is a very love and light based. You know, you got to ignore your dark side. You don't pay attention to that and all that stuff. No, that's completely, no. The journey is to accept both and to find balance. Everything's about balance. And what's also weird is like the moon, and a lot of shit going on with the moon. It's disappearing, it's coming back, it's looking weird, it's like all sorts of things. But somebody got a picture the other day, and it looked like the yin and yang up in the sky. And there's so much sky phenomena going. Oh my gosh, so many ships and stuff up there. Like, it's wild. A guy in California, he was over by San Diego, and he got footage of these really long black clouds. And he said they were puffy on the top, but the bottom is black. And he said that is a shielded ship. He said when it's black on the bottom, and then they puff out this smoke around the top, these cloud-looking things to hide under. And he said, so he was showing these two over San Diego. And he said last night, this would have been the night before, I think. He said it was so loud. He said this weird, like, thunderstorm started. And he said, but it wasn't thunder. He said it was like ships fighting. And he said it was so loud, and explosions and stuff. He said his house was shaking. And I said that here before. I said the thunder, little tooty booty over there. I heard the thunder will start, but it doesn't sound like thunder. And then you'll see these like colors and stuff. And whenever I have it here and where I'm at, with the parts of the sky I can see, it's always so overcast. I can't see, and I can't see through the trees, so there's a lot of interference. So I don't know if I was standing way out in the middle of a field and could see open sky somewhere, if I would see. She's so cute. She's so big. Like, she's gained a little weight. Like, God, she's so precious. I can't even believe how much I love that girl. This little fellow, he's a hard one to love. Haven't got there yet. Right now, he's still jackassery. Oh, God. He is, oh, my God. I can't wait till the puppy wildness is simmered down and he stops and thinks for a second. He's real smart when he's quick when he can pay attention, but I don't know. It must be like puppy chemicals, puppy hormones. I don't know. Wildness. And then plus getting him at this awkward stage, and he's so naughty. Yeah, he's a hard one to like so far. Just like, oh God, damn. But I'm sure he's gonna, turn out okay. But man, he has jumped on her several times, and the shrieks, and I think it's got to affect him. But he definitely wants to play rowdy, and he wants to bite while he's playing. And, Stella is, like, not about it, especially her sagging jowls, and he's trying to bite him and stuff. So she'll take her big old paw and knock him. But anyways, so jackassery over there is, he's rough stuff. And he's getting so much bigger. Like, I need to go in and do a weigh thing again on him, but oh my gosh. He's got to, like, have doubled in size since he got here. And I don't know, maybe he is going to be pretty big. Maybe he's going to be like, there's no way he's going to be as close to Stella. But already, I'm already out there walking 200 pounds of dog. And I'm really trying to get him, to pace, to stay next to each other. And he's just so jump in front of her. Oh my gosh. But it's improving. But fuck, it's hard. And then when Stella won't listen and she just keeps going, I'm saying, we need to turn around. And she just starts going, no, I want to go forward. I want to go this way. She gets so determined in what she wants. And it's one thing when it's just me and her, and I'll just like, okay, go with the flow. I don't have anything else to do. But when I've got fucking someone jumping on me, dancing around me, and I'm getting twisted in the goddamn way, at one point, he did twist me, and I thought I was gonna fall right in the middle of the street. I was like, oh my god, this is fucking cartoon bullshit. So, anyways, okay. So let me think, because I had on my mind stuff with my kids, and I just thought that was so trippy when I went on there and saw that girl's video right after, and it was like seeing it from the other side and seeing like, because I know that they're gonna get there, they're gonna have to feel that same thing, you know, not. I don't know. It is kind of like a patriarchy repercussions or something, because I think a lot of houses were, you know, ran by the dad, whatever the dad's attitude was. And so much disrespect to moms have gone on for so long. So long. And I'm not just, I mean, it's all a societal thing, but it's also an individual thing. That's why when we change, the world changes. Because I can't just 100% blame it on, oh, it's all them, oh, it's all them, it's him, it's, you know, because I allowed this. I allowed myself to be pushed around. I allowed myself to be, you know, the butt of the joke or whatever. You know, and a lot of times, you know, I think that we do it out of peace. You know, we don't want to start a big fight right here. Oh, everybody's coming over. That'd be great. So now's the time to stand up and say something. Because I would fight with this guy all the time. But I would always stand up to myself. Like I fucking, you know, like I said, like he went to work with fucking claw marks down his face at times. Like I wasn't just completely passive, but I was also didn't want my kids to constantly see, you know, this fighting and stuff. And then anytime, you know, you say something to him, you didn't know how far it would go. Like it could turn into, depending on, you know, what his day was like. And he was a sneak drinker too, so you didn't. He would hide alcohol and shit like that. So he was, you know, but I can't sit there and just say, oh, well, it's all him. You know, I was trapped. I couldn't do a thing. Even though he would beg me back and make me feel guilty, but it was my guilt. That was my weakness and my own not caring about myself enough. And I had to go through a lot of those relationships to get to the point of loving myself. And the kids seem to be like the aftermath. Like, how do your kids respect you when you don't respect yourself? And so I have, you know, that part of it. But in the awakening part of it, they have to see their role. And just like that girl said, you know, she had to see like what she did because she was going against her mom. And that's what I think is like they just haven't seen this other part, you know, because they don't. It's weird because I know if you said, oh, you don't value your mom, you don't care about your mom, they would be like, you weirdo. Of course I love my mom. My mom's the greatest thing in the whole wide world. I love her. But she's just not allowed to talk about what she wants to talk about. She's not allowed to, you know, she can't pull us into her weird world. You know, she's some sort of weird conspiracy theory. She's always worrying and thinking about something or, you know, whatever their attitude is. You know, but they, on the superficial, you know, my mom aspect, they're just not into the deeper part of like, oh, this is an individual person. This is who she is. This is what she represents. This is what she likes. This is what she's interested in. And she brings something to the table. It's just like, I'm never at the table. The table's always set for everybody else, and I'm always on the outside. It's like, nobody wants to hear what I gotta say. And I think, you know, it's probably a big thing is because I make people think. I make people feel a certain way. And I think that's probably, a part of why I had all these teenage girls that felt like, they couldn't meet up. I had too much expectation. I was, too perfect and couldn't put that pressure on them. And, I was just so perfect because I was so driven and and that's just all toxic and stuff. It's like, it's just, when you just are around people, just don't see you. But yeah, it wasn't just, Crystal. It wasn't just, because I found out about this group chat a while ago. And, but on this thing where, nobody says anything to me, I just know that group chat is fired up. They'll say whatever they want to say about how crazy I am to each other all the time. Like, they got to constantly remind each other, like, oh my God, we got such a crazy mom. God, she's so crazy. It's just like, because they don't see me. They live in this 3D world that they think that's it. And they don't see the stuff I'm talking about. They don't understand what I'm talking about. I mean, to them, I'm not, well, to the one daughter, I'm not even spiritual. I'm fake. I'm fake about everything. I'm just big old, fake old, phony ass bitch. So they gotta have this relief to go talk to each other about how fucking crazy and phony I am, I guess. But I did lose my shit in 2016 when because I told you, or I told y'all, that back then when I woke up, and because I'd already got my brain injury, I'd already gone through that. I was losing everything, relationships. I was seeing people differently. I was just everything, And again, anybody who was lost then, don't think you need to come a knocking. No, bye bye. I processed through. There's nothing left for us to talk about. So don't think you need to look me up, because all right, we've said our goodbyes. That's the way I see it. And so it was a long process that I had to go through, and then the medical on top of that. I was having all that medical stuff, and I'm still on all those pills, and they were even adding more in. I mean, then I was on the antidepressants. Then they were telling me my hormones was out of balance and that I needed to do that, and they got me on more. So I think I was on, like, I don't know, 8 or 10 pills for a long time. And then they got me on 18. And I was just getting so fucking sick. I was so fucking sick. And I swear, I really thought, I was going to die or something. I couldn't walk. I was in so much pain. Oh my gosh, I was so fucking miserable. And so it was just like, hit again with another thing. And so you get a brain injury, you lose everything, and then you're fucking just sick as fuck, and medical is doing shit for you, and then you plus know, the lingering, and I had already been to court at this point, because court, I think, was 2015, because that was one of the things that tripped me out, because that last husband, that's why he was there for the payout, and I mean, it would be weird, because he would bring up my court case to my kids and all that. My kids, even when I was so sick, they told me later that they thought he was poisoning me. They thought he was trying to kill me. And, but I think it was my body and the drugs and the medical. I don't know that he was, I don't know if he could have thought that through. He was just trying to worry about where he was going to get this next drink. How am I going to get her to buy me a case of alcohol this week? So anyways, let me think. So then I was on all those meds and stuff, and I had to get off those, and that's when that's when I went on the weed. My daughter worked at the weed store, and she worked at a medical marijuana place, and it had just switched over in Washington State, though, into everybody could buy it. You didn't have to have a card to buy it, but there's still the places that were there originally were, turning into big stores. But so they had a lot of information and stuff, and so she knew a lot of stuff about medical. marijuana. And so she was the one who was like, try the hard candies and stuff. And so I had tried that. And at the time, I was like, fuck, this is more intense than when I took acid, man. This is crazy. And they'd be like, well, yeah, it's a lot stronger than it was when you guys had it. I was like, damn. But then it moved me into the realm that I feel like I'm usually in anyways. It like made it quieter or something. It was like I was more in that room and more could hear my guides and stuff. It was like the lights came on in the Starship Enterprise, and I was like, oh, hell yeah. And so I really liked it. And so then, like I said, then with the smoking, people would sit around and they'd be doing these smoking and talking, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. And so I got into that and got off of all the pills, and I weaned off of them quick too, because I went in and I looked up every pill, and I looked up how to get off of them, like if you had to wean off or if you could just go cold turkey. So all the ones I could go cold turkey, which I think was like 10 or 11 of them, I dropped them right then. So I was putting my body into a real crazy state. But I was determined. I didn't give a fuck. And I just would take a weed candy or whatever. And, and I still felt like I don't know. I felt like I was enjoying life. I walked everywhere. That was part of the reason why I was even staying with him, because of the brain injury. And they were telling me, you can't drive, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I had problems. Like when I would first be driving, I would forget. Like I would run red lights. I was scaring my own self. And so then my lawyer, she didn't even want me riding my bike or anything. She was like, you're going to get yourself killed out there. And it's so crazy too. So I'm telling you, anybody who's got a brain injury, don't get stuck in thinking you're not going to get better. Keep chugging away. Keep chugging away and keep pushing yourself. Keep pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. Don't listen to what they tell you. And you can get back in control. You may have still lost things, but you can get the control back. And so I was, taking the little candies and stuff, and I was going out. I would walk around. You see so much more when you walk around. And so I would walk, and at my eye doctor, I was still having to see the eye doctor. I hadn't quit that one yet, because I quit that one during quarantine, when they made my eyes so much worse. And it was right at lockdown. And they had me go in and do this. Everybody does it. This is the best thing. You don't even have to take medicine. They just do this laser. He's the expert. This guy's the fucking top. And he's so innovative, and we'll get you in with him. He'll see you right now. Go in and get my fucking eyes lasered, which it hurt like fuck. It hurt. And I was like, oh my God. And it felt like you could smell my eyes burning off. And then, so went home, and then I was supposed to be back for a recheck in a couple of weeks. And a couple days later, everything locked down, everything. So I didn't get to go in for a recheck for like 6 weeks. And my eyes were swollen. They still can be really sore to touch sometimes. Like, it's weird. But they were so swollen and they hurt so bad. It was just like they just burned my eyes. And that's why I say, like, now it's like a barometer. My eyes will start burning really easy and stuff. Like, they fucked my eyes up more. And that's why I was like, fuck this. I am so fucking done. And even when I went back for the rechecks and stuff, and I said, this is so much worse. And now I've got a million times more floaters. I can't see. And they go in and they look, and they're like huge ones. And oh, fuck. It was like, and I've had to chip away and chip away and chip away at that. Like, I still have, like, there's still something that'll go across my eyes, and there's still floaters, but it gets better and better and better, just to continue to do all this antioxidant, like all my root tea or my root powders and stuff. all this antioxidant and stuff. And oh, if you're having any problems with sleep or anxiety or something, the the blue lotus flower, and everybody's saying if you drink that tea, you have total lucid dreaming, you'll have the wildest dreams. And then these blue pea flower, they're little flowers. And yesterday I got the purple little pea flower ones, and you make a tea, you put it in there, and then you put lemon juice and honey, and it tastes good, and it's really, really good for you. It also does, it makes your hair grow, it's antioxidant, it's good for your sleep, it's good for your mood, all sorts of stuff. So there's a bunch of flowers out there, but the blue lotus flower, I think it's called. Like, I can look it up and try and share a link. I was looking them up yesterday, and it seemed like the one on TikTok Shop was getting better reviews. But it's like, I've heard a lot of things about the TikTok Shop too, where you buy something on there and then you'll start getting hacked. Like, it's all a setup. So, and Amazon's the same thing. But Amazon, I've already been hacked so many times. It's like, well, they've already got all my shit. And so it's like, but in Etsy, somebody out buying off that one said you start getting calls. They start sending you things and saying stuff. You can't answer any of those things where they say, we've sent a package, you need to set up the delivery. That's all a scam. All these emails that they're sending us all the time, all these texts and shit, I just go out of them. And I don't open them or anything. They're scam. And so, okay, let me think. Okay, so when I was back walking and stuff, and I would get a lot of stuff of the sky, and that's when I was getting the Nibiru footage thing of the big purple thing behind the sun. And that's when I was on Facebook, that when I was putting that stuff on Facebook. And I don't even think TikTok had even started yet. I don't think that even existed. And I went on Twitter years later. I don't even remember when that started. I don't know when Twitter started. Facebook seemed like it was a thing for a long time. And then there was Instagram. So I did Instagram because I would go and save all my pictures I had all my pictures on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram, I still have my account. Like, I could still go in and get those pictures. Facebook took everything. Just like iCloud did. They just take away all your memories. And so, but that's where you have to learn that you can access your memories, that's an illusion, that they're taking something from us. It's that we are giving that, and we think that that has power or something, like, oh, this is my picture, this is my memory. But all our memories, everything's inside of us. So it's an illusion that we need it outside of us. And so so during that time, so I was going off the meds. I think I was only eating weed candies. I would only, smoke around when other people were smoking. I don't think I'd gotten to the part of smoking. That was more, I think that was more like when I moved up here. So maybe around 2017, or when did I start smoking weed just regularly and stop doing the candies? I must have been like, I don't know, 2018 or 2019. I don't know. Because I had gone, and smoked so many times with everybody. And so then I just started smoking my own self. And so then, but that will create a habit. That's why I said, like, you find yourself just smoking just because you enjoy to smoke. Because it's just relaxing. And, I think on the weed candies, and they all just kept saying I was so weird. They all thought I had gone crazy. They would talk bad about me. And that is when I found out that they were talking about me to my family. Like, talking bad about me, that I was so crazy and stuff to my siblings. That got me really pissed. Oh my God, I got pissed. I was like, that is some bullshit. Just sitting, Everybody's so concerned. And you know, where all that concern, where was that concern? You're also concerned for this injured person who's just gone so crazy. They're so weird. They've got so many problems. But all during, quarantine when they're locked over on by themselves in another part of the state, all alone, out in the woods, was there any concern? Was there anybody, just checking, see how I was doing? Even say like, well, we can't see you because we got to protect you. We're going to see each other though. That's okay. We'll see each other, but we can't see. We got to protect you. And I don't know. There's just a lot of things that just didn't add up to me. It didn't make sense. But then I've seen through this going and playing out where, oh, this is part of their awakening. This is a part of something they've got to face. Something about, and it would be different for all the different people probably. Like my one daughter who's very much an instigator on, what an idiot I am. Who thinks, I'm a fake spiritual person. I'm just a fake person to her. Just total fake. And back a long time ago, because she had kids, in high school. She had quit high school to have, kids. And, so she was a child. And she, and it was wild too, because I was a nurse, and I was very driven, very type A. And I thought I was, kick back and have fun and stuff like that. Like, I was always silly. That's one thing that they would think was strange of me too. They will point out, you remember when you did blah, blah, blah? I was like, yeah, because I do weird stuff. It's not because I'm crazy. I just am always like that. And so there was, things that they would say where they thought I was weird, but they would think, I was this very driven, workaholic, selfish. I don't know. I mean, like one time I was out with my older daughters for the oldest one's birthday, and the one that's under her, the one who always thinks I'm such a phony ass, she got mad at me and started telling me, I bet you were one of the mean girls in high school. That's who you are. You're one of those kind of girls. I'm like, what? I was like, you don't know me very well. Fucking in high school, I barely even fucking talked. I sat on the smoking porch with my friends. Like, I was very quiet. But unless I was like cutting up in class or something, you had to talk with me one-on-one. I was definitely not the leader of the group and trying to be mean to people. I was the one who was standing up to people. And then it's even like, would that woman have been telling you to stand up to the bullies? Don't ever let anybody be bullied in front of you. Always stand up for the people being bullied. Like, does that sound like somebody who's the mean girl? Like, what? That's where I was like, do they ever even see me, who I am? That was a significant moment. And then, and I can see if, I was very driven, and then you have this ex who, he was out there all the time, telling people how perfect I was. And I told you a couple weeks ago, I said, I know that was rubbing people the wrong way. I mean, when he was doing that the other day, and I was just like, or, whatever, a month or two ago, said something, and I was just like, it just hit me. And I was like, oh my gosh, going around saying this shit, no wonder people always, women would always be like, oh my God, well, Miss Perfect. And so it's so weird, when you think about the things you go through. It's just weird because you just don't see them at the time in the same way. And so, anyways, I gotta think because I'm so twisted up in this, where it was in the start of it. Because I feel like that so, she had her kids when she was young, and so she would talk smack about me, in front of her kid. I'm sure she did too, the kids all the time. I'm sure there's a real reason why they're always, Grandma, you're so crazy. Grandma, you're crazy. Grandma, you're so crazy all the time. Well, when you're raised by a person who's telling you all the time that this person is crazy, then, and then for this person to see me as like I'm this total fake, I'm fake spiritual. It's like, how, I mean, those kinds of things would blow my mind. Like, how do you not see who I was ever? And she's like, oh, really? You think you're so spiritual? Do you remember coming in and praying with us when we were little? Remember that? Yeah, super spiritual. Oh my God. And then also for them to not even realize, like, the spiritual outlet back then was religion. Like, to break free from that, like I'm telling you, there was people like Shirley MacLaine and stuff that were huge. And that's why also you got to go back and read some old spiritual books, not these just new ones that people are putting out. Because I don't know. And then that lady who went to that Luxor Hotel spiritual thing, she said that she went. She did a second video, and she said that she was talking about some more, she went to another meditation, and she said there was tons of different beings, and they were directing this meditation and the stuff they were saying, and they were pulling all this energy, and they were siphoning it, and they wanted everyone to direct their energy into this certain thing because they were harnessing energy and stuff. And so she was talking about, and she was saying, how there's such an infiltration in the spiritual community of, she said even there was Mason people there, that she's like, what are they doing here? Unless they're the ones funding it. Which, yeah, it's because, it's got to be controlled. And so even when, my daughter thinks like, well, you weren't real spiritual because you took us to church, and, we weren't regular at church. We weren't regular at any church, but I took them to, I think I talked about at some point, I had, my husband wanted me to work it out with him. And I said that we need to go to church. We need to get the kids to be more, to have some kind of a spiritual side. Like, it's like, we can't just raise kids without having any kind of spiritual way, part of them. But I don't know, somehow he was able to just beat that down. Because we did go to church a few times, and it was the Unitarian Universalist one, because that would accept gay people, and I don't believe in gayness. I believe that it is human. I believe that it is just a part of the soul, and some experiences are to have love of the same gender, because there's a lot of biases and stuff you have to get over. There's a lot of healing. There's a lot of growing in those relationships. Like I've said way when I very first started, that there's people who ignore true love because it's the same gender. I mean, fucking Will Smith is probably a testimony to that. But he's got more interference. He's got more handlers and shit. Like, we don't know for sure all of the manipulation and stuff that went on with that guy. And I'm sure there's a lot of people, that weren't allowed to live their truth. They had to live the role that they were assigned by the overlords of the Hollywood. So they had to play the part that they were assigned. And you couldn't go outside of that part. So, because they're banking on you. You want money from them, though. You do what they say. So and like that girl, I don't know why I have such a hard time with her name, but she said too that if you drink the gold juice, that if it's whatever they give you, you owe them. It's like they are, they're your overlords. They're the ones in charge. You do what they say. And I don't know, if they won the case or something, this big thing against the Actors Guild about using CGI people to, so they've just got the actors form their persona already on film, so now they can just feed off of that. They don't need the person anymore. They can put them in any old movie they want now and just make CGI movies, which I had said that one was so weird when you saw the two screens above each other where it shows the movie and the person in the movie and all this stuff happening, and then it shows what's really happening, and they're just in a room walking around, just a green room walking around in a green outfit or something. I was like, nothing is real. It's all a bunch of bullshit. And especially the action movies and stuff. You know, that's, and the way they just, I don't know, they just want to absorb your consciousness into their world, into, you know, because they've got complete control over it when you absorb into their world. And so, anyways, to me, it's like, well, why would people keep going and seeing movies and supporting this nonsense? But so many people probably don't even understand what the hell's going on. You know, it's fake ass people just, you know, are just discarding even their own idols, the idols that they created. They're discarding them now. Hey, we don't even need you. We already used you for what we needed, and now we're just going to use your image and do what we want, and we don't have to pay you shit. I don't know if they have to pay him, if there's some sort of payout. Before, there was a big payout. If you hit the right show or whatever, and you did the right contract, you could make money as the show was making money. Like Chandler, you know, I don't know that he had to work anymore if he was good with his money, because he was getting paid out on Friends stuff for a long time. So it all depended on your contracts and stuff of how you would make money. And then there's a lot of people got really fucked over on their contracts too. So so anyways, it's all a game. Confirmation. It's all bullshit. You know, it's not like those people had it any better, even though there's all these people who want to blame them and get mad at them, like all of Hollywood was in on it. Like, hey, there's a lot of people out there just trying to go and make it on the big screen and had no idea, just like that lady. She said she's been working, like I know her from movies and stuff. She's been working for, ever since she was young in the business, like 30, 40 years or something. I don't know how old she is. She's probably like 40 or something. Well, she's probably been working at 30 years. She said 3 decades she was offered. And she said on Orange is the New Black that when the girls did take it, and she said, I don't know if it's something that you really do or if it is a metaphor. She said, I don't know. But when they did take it, whatever it was, that they changed, that something changed. And I think that, you know, that's what a lot of people who follow Doja Cat, that they are all like, can see the change. Also with Sam Smith, he had a lot of people who were fans and stuff. And then he had a dramatic shift. And then right now, all these concerts, like Lady Gaga, I don't even know, was this a new one or is this somebody just pulling out old ones? But the fucking rituals and shit going on at these concerts, like, and there's people who are at them who are saying that they had to leave, that there was some guy, and he started chanting, and there's all this weird imagery and stuff, and you can feel these spirits or these entities come in, these you know, some of them are just energy, like they're sucking the energy out of you and taking, but people don't realize that what they're participating in, and then they're opening it up, and then they're having their energy harvested out of them and taken and used. And we've got all these beings that live off of that. They live off of the energy that we put out, and I don't think off of happiness, but off of fear and guilt and anger and all of those kinds of things. They feed off of that. And I think that's where they get this idea of demons in the dark energy and stuff that really is just kind of mindless energy. And I don't know if it's like on the stage, you have this singer who has a dark energy, a dark attachment energy, like an entity, like a, you know, it's weird too. Is like Beyonce. There's several of these singers or something who say that they have like a counter, a second side of themselves that come out, and that could be weak-minded mind control too, where these entities enter them and use them. And you know, I mean, it's hard to say how weak-minded all these different people are. You know, if your desires are outshine your independent thought, then, you know, there's repercussions. And so if they're, you know, up there and this altar enters them and pulls in all this dark energy through this ritual, they pull it in and then siphon it. Like, do they use some of this dark energy as their own little militant force to suck energy out of us? Like, seems like it. It's some of these places, some of these games, some of these places where they create these rituals and stuff. Like, there's definitely some more going on. But anyways, when you're thinking about like going and looking for books and stuff, because I had already said like this journal was really popular, and then I heard like, no, if you are, it's a love and light thing. It's like you got to hide part of yourself. You got to not accept part of yourself. Part of yourself is bad. Part of yourself needs to be hidden. That's not right. You got to go back to older spiritual books and go back. And to me, I got a lot out of, you know, trying to understand different religions, studying, you know, different, I didn't go full on and study a whole bunch. Like I bought the Quran and studied Buddhism. I think I learned some about Hinduism, Islam, and stuff like that. I didn't go way into it, but I did have a bunch of books that, that's the kind of stuff that I was interested in, is like the spiritual side of life. And, you know, religion has been a big part because it is the distraction to keep you controlled in this environment. But every time I would go to a church, you know, whether, because in Colorado when my kids were really little, and, well, my one daughter was really little, my other one was still in my stomach, and my mom became friends with that really young preacher, and we all had little girls that were all the same age, and so I would hang out with them, and I'd go and listen, and then I would always ask him questions. When he would say stuff, I'd say, yeah, but what about this? Yeah, but what about that? Yeah, but what about this? Like, I would always question. And I would always get back, well, you just got to trust. Well, there's not really answers about everything. You just got to have faith. You just got to trust. It's like, I'm not one of those that's just blind trust like that. If everything inside of me is saying, but what? Well, what about that? What about that? Then I'm not going to be like, okay, well, ignore that. I'm just going to blindly trust now. I can't do that. It doesn't work inside of me. I just can't. And so, you know, went there and, you know, most loveliest people that you can imagine. And it still wasn't my answers. I still wasn't finding my truth in religion. Left that one. And then, you know, later when I was married to the other guy, you know, it was like, you know, I had 4 little girls, this crazy ass husband, this mom who's fucking bringing in religious paraphernalia to my kids and propaganda and stuff, and keeps telling me, you know, now not just you're going to go to hell, now your damn kids are going to go to hell too, because you. And me and my mom have battled over religion and God for my whole life. And, um, and at some point, I just don't remember what it was, but there was some driving thing where I was like, I want to take my kids, I got to get them to have that part of them. I don't know if something happened and I could see something was missing, but, I mean, when nothing is talked about about God ever, and obviously me going and praying with my kids at night and saying, like, I still would say my things, well, in past lives, well, and all those kinds of things. That's how I would talk. I would talk to them that way. And I'm sure, in the background you have all, rolling his eyes and, saying how ridiculous I am. And I mean, that's become so clear. And, and there's going to be, I don't see it not blowing up in all of their faces. Especially, and I said this a long while ago too, was when I was, I was the nurse. I was the one who had medical background. I was the one who went to classes on these things. Like, if you just don't realize unless you've worked in medical, like every single time you go to a job, you got to go through these classes. You got to learn about all this stuff. Like, we learned about those things over and over and over and over. And just about sickness and stuff. And so as soon as I started trying to say things when the sickness started and I started trying to tell them, I was the laughing stock. I was ridiculous. I was an idiot. And even when I'm like, what are you talking about? This is what I did for a living. Well, things have changed. You just don't understand. Poor little brain damaged crazy person over there. She doesn't know shit. And the saints over there, the geniuses, the what are they called? The not the articulates, the academics. The academics over there, that, you gotta listen to them. It's certainly not based on fear. Wouldn't be based on fear or anything. Let's just all get as many of these as we can and huddle up together and we'll be fine. Okay. And that's where my two older daughters did break out of that, but the two younger ones, went in that direction with that family. And then the other ones, though, they just stay wrapped up in their own little, one of them's all wrapped up in reality world TV, and one's all wrapped up in her own drama and stuff. And then even if she wants to sit there and say, like, what she's going through with her kids, it's like, dude, what did you think would happen? Like, I was fucking saying this, like, goddamn, I still was working as a nurse. And I was saying, like, fuck, her talking about me like this in front of her kids is going to backfire on her. She doesn't even see it coming, but I fucking do. This is going to backfire. When you teach your kids to not have respect for your mom, do you think they're going to respect you? They're looking through life through that lens now. And so I saw that coming, man. I saw it coming. And, and if, she wants to think she's perfect and she doesn't want to see that there's a dark side to, if you think your mom was too lax and you're going to go completely the other direction, there's a dark side to that, dark side to each side. Doesn't matter which side you do. If you're not completely in balance, if you don't have total balance and you're going in one side, there's another side. And if you think like a heavy hand, your kids aren't allowed to have an opinion, you do what you're told, that's going to be, it's going to outdo what my mom did. She let us think for ourselves. She let us talk. She let us back talk. She let us, because I was very much always in my life. I was led by my spirit and I allowed other people to be led by theirs. And I saw a lot of people where I thought, ooh, that's going to blow up. Ooh, god damn. Yeah. But it's somewhere along that way was where I was like, my kids need more spiritual background. Like, where, I can't get them to just sit down and read a reincarnation book. I can't get them to sit down and listen to what I say. So How about we just start going to church? Maybe if they hear people talk about God, it'll go, remind them of what they are. But it didn't go that way. And then even it took all this time where one of them, 1 out of 4, started, going in the super spirit direction, and then saw me as a joke, because like, I'm not a love and light, I'm real. I believe that you're not supposed to be like, oh, that's bad. No, I mean, everything is lessons, everything is about learning. And how can you say something is bad when it's there for you to experience? Like these love and light people, like, to me, life is about, you get to come and create your experience. You get to come and experience what it is to be alive. To just sit back and be like, well, you can't be in love with the same gender. Oh, but you can't have plants. Those plants, they're bad. Why would God put a plant to make you high? Well, then when you fucking start hearing all this, like Judy and stuff like that, there's a whole bunch of different doctors now talking about the cannabinoids and how it is necessary. Like, we need cannabinoids and how much it heals things inside of our body. And I'm telling you, it worked for me. I got off of 18 meds just by doing that. And I don't use Tylenol or anything. If I get a headache, it's like, oh, I'll go have a couple hits off a joint, and then my headache's gone away and I'm fine. It's not, you use it as a medicine. And that was why there was so many people who had to pull free from it, because they had gotten out of balance. They started using it as a kid. They used it as a coping skill, as a crutch, as a way to hide from their truth, a way to hide from the world, to keep themselves in a fog. It was out of balance. So they had to go through like, oh, I gotta quit smoking. I gotta, start getting you gotta face the world. You gotta be in the world that you're in. And face the things, even though I have always been not fully here in my mind, it is still the experiences. They all have validity. Like, when I'm going through an experience and I'm going through, some kind of a pain or something, I'm always talking to my guides. They're always talking to me. They're always showing me and explaining things to me. Like, so, I don't understand. I don't understand how everybody's gotten through life without that. And then I have to just see it's like some sort of an adapting is some sort of it's just like what they have done in this world. They've built a world on top of a world. And the world that they built on top of it is going to crumble because there's nothing holding it up. There's nothing real. And so we're going to the world underneath. We're going to the truth. We're going to the upside down. And so everybody who has built their persona, their lives on this faulty foundation, this fake structure, it's all falling apart. But when people just gotta realize, well, this is what I want to have happen. I want this to fall apart. I want to get to my truth. I want to get to who I am. I want to get to my core. I want to get to what's real. And I got to let go of all this stuff that's not real. But, you just think about, I think Amy and I have had conversations about, judgment from family on sexuality. And that you can see is people's own fears, their own ignorance, and holding themselves back. That's what I've always thought. Your own judgment holds you back. And the way I see it is that, God's going to bring you a true love to try and get you to cross over that boundary, to get you to break free from that paradigm. And then the people who do break free from it, and families and stuff like that, you have a lot to fight against because you have so much judgment that echoes. But they also have to see, there's a lot to see. And, and there's a big thing too over the whole thing on sexuality right now, is because they've tried to turn it into such a fetish. and everybody just, go have sex with everybody, don't care about anything. When it's about love, it's all about love. And you've got to let sex not interfere with love. And so there's all this defining moments in you as you start to understand, you just got to see things deeper. There's just so much more depth to everything that they've kept in the surface, because everything was, all. I think I made my cup of tea. Oh, no, I drank it. I was like, did I just make that and set it there and never drink it? It's not my tea, it's my roots. And I set my root. And I can see why that one place calls it mud water. It does look like mud, just all these different powders. It looks like mud, it smells a little muddy, but, I think there's a lot of benefits to it. And if it does good stuff for your hair, because, oh my gosh, my hair keeps falling out. I even had a dream last night. Like this wads of hair was coming out. I was like, what the hell? Our hair is so under attack, man. And I'm really curious if they're going to shoot that rocket this morning and see. But no matter what, no matter if nobody sees you, that's the thing, even when I started this, is I did this all on my own, no support, and nobody, like I've said, there's going to be a lot of people in my family that are going to be surprised, because they've already just kind of written me off as just like, oh, she's probably in a nursing home at this point, like, they're just, and then, a lot of people are in their own problems. They've got their own issues. And a lot of people are just enjoying that 3D life, not paying one bit of attention to anything. And so, but this is, something I did all on my own. And it was like, because I could see what's coming, as I was shown, so I knew what was coming. And I knew that there's going to be this flip. And, I know that there's not really a place for me right now, except for the outside, but then the things flip, and it's going to be, the outside is going to be the inside, and the inside is going to be the outside. It's going to be a big flipping of energies, and there's going to be a lot of people who knew me and are going to be like surprised that I've been busy, doing something, trying to do something good for the world, trying to help people. And I know there could be some people who are like, oh, I always figured she'd be that way. I think, I think there would be people who come back and try and, oh, well, I really want to be your friend. No, please don't, no. Nobody, please do not. Like I said before, our goodbyes have been said. You have no reason to look me up. No reason at all. Just because all of a sudden things flip, and then you see that there was, there's going to be these people who are going to be out there who people are going to want to hear. Don't try and jump on. No, thank you. And to me, if you weren't there for me through the hard times, no, bye-bye. That was something Trump had said too. He appreciated when he lost everything, because it showed who his real friends were. And yeah, it is. And you don't need anybody showing back up. So once the weeding out has been done, it's, I already, where my real friends were is, me and Stella. And it's just wild, when I've been doing this, and, no support, no, like I said, this one son-in-law has said he's watched a couple of my videos. So, and I don't know, if he's just watched it just to see how crazy I am because he hears I'm crazy. I have no idea. Who knows what motivates somebody, I don't know. But I know that I have done this on my own, by myself. I have built this wherever it goes and however it ends up. I did it on my own with no support. As a matter of fact, with people telling me I was crazy and making fun of me the whole time. So That's where I say you got to push through. You can't get caught up and hung up on what other people think of you. And yeah, it's going to hurt your feelings. It's going to hurt your feelings a lot. And you can get caught up and being the victim and having your feelings hurt. Or you can also acknowledge, like, well, I was somebody who allowed this. I let people walk all over me. I let myself be the butt of a joke, I let myself be, whatever it was. And so I'm not going to play the victim, that everybody's mean, everybody's out to get me. It's everybody else's fault. It's like, no, I have the awareness now that I was never seen. I was never seen for who I was, but everybody was only seeing me through the dark. And so, of course, I was odd. Of course, I was strange. I'm not of the dark. Like, I'm very opposite of that. And I don't think that way. I think very different. I think different than most people. And I lived my life different than most people. And so, I'm odd man out. I'm odd. And so, that's their reality. And they just haven't seen because the flip hasn't happened. Like, there's a reason why there's some odd people here, some strange ones, because this flip is going to happen. And when the flip happens, it is, there has to be people who are there. There has to be the light. There has to be the light showers, the way showers, the movement in that direction. It's been heavy on the dark. Like, you can find endless things to pull you into the dark. Endless amounts, endless groups, endless people that will keep you in pain and suffering, keep you in victim roles. And so anyways, where I was going with the books and stuff. So even on the self-help books, the older ones, there was less of an agenda. Like, in Edgar Cayce, he could be a good one to read. Like, there's so many different authors and stuff out there to read, and spiritual, and then rather than the new stuff. The new stuff, I would just kind of, I don't know. There could be some really, really good stuff. Like, I haven't even done my book yet. I've got whatever it is. I think I have 12 fucking journals all sitting there. And I gotta get them out, and I gotta edit and all that stuff. And form it all into a book. But then, this is why I like this better. But it has all this stuff that I was going through in 2015. And so I know there's people out there who are really authentic and have great information. But you got to use your discernment so much. Like that fucking spiritual thing, all those people that paid to go to that and think that they're really, that's the trendy spiritual. All these trendy spiritual people, it's like, just like my daughter's saying, you're not spiritual because I'm not whatever, this love and light thing. It's like, they all are being misled. They're being led, obviously, by, Mason, as that lady said, that they were there, and they're in charge of this, that aspect of the spiritual movement. You just got to see that they've got to have their hands in everything. I mean, they fucking did religion. So anything that people woke up, like, they try to use fear. They got all those people to go down and do these mass baptisms. But then there's still other people who were like, no way, going to go in that direction towards religion. They had to come in. They had to come in and manipulate their minds. They had to keep them in a position of weakness. And so, but that's where your discernment comes in. You got to, but the hard thing is with discernment, when you've got so much dark energy inside of you, it's so manipulative. It will trick you. She's doing one of those little, like, rolls around on her back. That's really cute when she does that, because she's so huge. And then all her face goes backwards like that. All her cheeks and stuff go back. It's so cute. God, she's so cute. God, I love that girl. I hope to one day love old jackassery as much as I love my little Stell. So, but she's getting on the move now. It's always like around the same time that she gets antsy. But that's how it is all night. Like, so that's why I go to bed so early, because it's my time to sleep, because she doesn't ever sleep like good solid. So let me think. Okay, so and the same on the self-help books. Like, I think self-help books are the way to go when you're trying to do your healing. And you got to think right now, Western med's falling apart. All these psychiatrists and all these psychologists and stuff like that, they are teaching limitation. They're teaching through how they want to keep control of you. And so they, and the people, they think they're doing great and trying to help and stuff and are excited to help. But they don't realize that they have got limitations over trying to keep us under control in the three-dimensional world. And so that's why it's important to break free. Even if you just, talk to your counselor all the time, do other things on top of that, like more self-promoted healing, like really try and figure out like what your issues are. If like to me, when I realized about the gaslighting, and so I went in and read about the gaslighting, because this was recent. This was while I was here. And reading about the gaslighting and then seeing my part. You can't be gaslight unless you're playing the secondary part. Each part has two roles. We're playing out programs. We're playing out roles all the time. You can't play one role without the other role player. So you aren't just the bad guy, and you're not just the good guy. You're just one of the participants in the role. And so you've got to go and realize what the role is. How's this game being played out between us? The awareness of understanding how the game's being played out between the two of you will give you more insight, so that you don't do your same bullshit over and over. You'll have more insight. You'll catch yourself. You'll be like, oh, I don't want to do that. That's what I do. That's how I get myself into this mess. I don't want to do that. So you just start catching yourself. And if you don't catch yourself and you get caught up, don't get mad at yourself. You got to remember, this isn't like a linear thing. This is you're tumbling through, because you are, you'll have some really good things, and you'll heal, and you'll be doing great, and you'll feel good. And then the tests will come in, and, people will come in and test you. And then you can overreact. You may not do well with your boundaries. It can be all sorts of things. And don't get mad at yourself, and don't beat yourself down and be like, I guess I'm not healed at all. I'm never going to heal. I'm never going to get there. No, the tests come in to help you. The tests come in. The triggers are gifts. The tests come in so you can see your weak spots. And then once you find those, you fill those holes, you let go of that stuff, then more will come in, and they will raise in intensity. They'll get more and more hard. Like I have the same ones come over and over. Boundaries, being sure of myself, even in a world where everybody laughs at me, to continue to be true to myself. Like these opportunities will come all the time, just like, the incident where I know that the conversation is on the group chat that I'm not in, which, it is very much a slap in the face, especially when it's not even just your daughters, when it's got grandkids and stuff involved, and that's where you're going to go and you're going to talk smack on your mom, like, always be saying she's crazy and stuff. But that's where I've said, like, people are locking in, and some of this stuff's going to blow up in their face. Like, yeah, I think mom's so crazy. Well, then all of a sudden, when all these other people don't, and all these other people are seeing this other thing, how are you going to feel then? You're going to, like I said, my one daughter, she'd be so, she'll go on Good Morning America and tell everybody, you're tricked. This lady's crazy. You don't know her. She's not spiritual at all. And it's like, it just makes me sad, because I was like, I wish you could see me. I wish you could see me and understand me. But, I can't make somebody see me who can't see me. And when the rest of the world sees me, and I already had a taste of that, like I talked about before, the viral video she did that had like 7 million views so fast, and everybody wanted to talk about me, and everybody thought I was the greatest thing in the whole wide world. And My family got so affected by that. People left TikTok over it. People were blocked. People like all sorts of stuff. Like, and that was hard too, you know, to see like your family's reaction when people say good things about you, how it makes them so upset and so angry. And that's why I can see it. I can see it coming. And I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know. You know, because like I said, there's some people who could just fight it all the way. I think the whole world is tricked, except for them. They're the ones who've got the truth. And they only see me as the evil monster. But even if you said that, they would be like, oh my God, that is not what I see. I just don't think you're this. I just think you're a fake. I just think, you know, it's like, okay, but you don't ever really see me. You never have. You fought against who I was since you were a child. So that's where I'm like, okay, there's some things that are much deeper than this life that are going on. There's some wounds from other past lives that are going to go on through this part, this turning the other direction thing. And so, and I don't even know, I mean, the messages I'm getting is like, yeah, crystal, like it's big, like the messages I'm getting. And it can be intimidating, you know, when they keep saying that and saying that, and that you're getting that message over and over and over and over. And I don't know how many people are out there like me who are doing this, and I don't know. I don't know if, but I know the messages I'm getting, and I definitely feel that this, I'm a lesson for some people who have been close to me, that I'm a lesson. Like, you didn't give me any value. It took other people to value me for you to even see that I had any worth. So, but you have to always believe in yourself and, you know, follow what you believe of. You can't just say that, because so many people have no value of themselves at all. So, you know, all I can do is share my story, you know, is you gotta value yourself even when nobody else around you does. You gotta go with, how do you feel inside? And if you feel broken and in pain inside, you gotta process through it, because that's not who you are. You're not broken. You're not your pain. You're something underneath that. It's gonna make me cry, because there's so much more than that. And you just gotta learn how to believe in yourself and trust yourself. And you've got everything fighting against you. You got all the dark energy, all the people who are of the dark, who don't even know. But, you know, it's going to be this awakening part when the lights come on, when things shift, when everything turns the other direction. Is going to be the biggest impact on I have so many relationships, so much is going to be seen. So, you know, and when we're close to it, like, I don't know when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen. I don't think we're supposed to know. And, you know, there's so many people who, for sure, like, there's many of us who, like, we know something's coming. We know it's coming. We know it's coming. We don't know when. And it can make you very... it can make you very nervous, you know, but those are the things that need to come up. Anything that is coming up, those are the things that need to come up. Even through all this. So, just whatever, through whatever your battles are, with family, with friends, you know, you gotta let go of groups, you gotta let go of people. And it is very much about you moving into your truth, believing in yourself, even if nobody else believes in you, even if nobody else sees you, even if no one ever sees me forever, that I showed myself that I believed in me. I showed myself that I could do more. I showed myself I'm not just a brain injury. I'm not just broken person. I'm not just a sex abuse person. I'm not just a person raised by a teenager and an alcoholic. I'm not just, you know, I'm more. And it's like powerful words to say, to claim. And everybody needs to claim it for themselves. Don't be held back by others' views of you. Don't be held back by others' limitations. Live your truth. Be your authentic self. Stand up for what you believe in. And man, my eyes are on fire. My eyes have been so bad the past few days. So bad. They hurt so bad. So I don't know. I think it's gotta be the chemicals. I guess we keep getting fogged and stuff. So anyways, I'm gonna go. My throat is killing me now. So, and my eyes are killing me. So have a great day. I'll talk to you later.